So I'm going to explain the benefits of running your document management on the cloud. So this is one of the data that is published by MSDN, that there are a lot of documents created for business purposes over the year. It accounts to around 1,000 documents per second, right? It, again, costs a lot of money, a considerable amount of money of your business operation. But what we do with our data, a lot of them get directly to the trash. One of the things is like the documents gets obsolete before they have been used mainstream. Why do such things happen, right? So we tried doing some deeper analysis, right? So how many of you use customer relationship, your contacts data or the CRM on the cloud? Can you put your hands up? Right, so around 10 hands going up. Any CRM, not Zoho CRM. You don't have to be specific to Zoho, any CRM for that purpose. So how many of you have your online document management or Office suite, any of the Office products on the web? Right, so we had 10 numbers for the CRM and around 3-4 numbers for the Office suite. Right, so what's the real-time number of the universe or the world? So we have around 35% of the people using CRM and only 6% has adopted to the Office suite and the document management, right? So what is the problem with such things? Why? Can't we be productive with a non-cloud Office suite? So how do we do it today? So a little analysis into what do we use, right? So we use either the Finder or the Explorer of our desktop and create our documents, right? These are tools that has been created in 1980s when the OS came into existence. That is, the operating system came into existence, right? Are they relevant? How they are relevant, right? This is the data growth that is happening over the past few years. It's exploding like anything. We create billions of GBs of data. From another dimension, it is like the data gets generated from a varied source. Your mobile, your tablet, from the web, from email, from your desktop, you create documents, you receive documents from your friends, and a lot of sources are there. How are we trying to manage it? So we are trying to manage those things on our Finder and Explorer. How that would be possible? So we end up messing up. We have a lot of things to be managed with the tool that has been introduced in 1980s where the data creation and usage were very meager. This slide, I'm putting this slide again. If you check your usage along with this data now, it looks more relevant. So how can we solve this problem? Let me introduce a genie here, right? So how would it be in the world, somebody there to do everything for you, right? So maybe it's not just about just organizing data. We have a lot of questions if we want to move our data to the cloud, right? So we want something like the storage should be central, accessible to every device, from every device. And we want the collaboration which we were doing on the previous world or non-cloud world, and the mobility. The devices has been improved and diversified. We want that to be supported. And the most important part is the security and the protection, right? So I would broadly divide these into two. One is the productivity and the security. Both are very important when we see from the business data perspective. So let's go a little deeper into the productivity. We are not silos sitting on our desk in our office, right? So we don't create content whatever we want. Another thing, we consume a lot of data than we produce, right? What we need is a more closer and more people to work on a common central document. So the document should be collaborative and we should be able to access all the people's data in the business, all the employees' data in the business. All right, so one of the main requirements is we need to be using the total system as a team. Another interesting perspective is like employees spend a lot of time searching for data which has been created and used in the organization. So it's again a productivity loss. All right. So the centralized data system or the storage system now provides a very insightful search of content from your centralized storage across all your employees. I'm just moving to the collaboration. How effective was our collaboration in the email world? So email was used because we were talking like there were only silos of data residing on your desktop or on a remote FTP server. How were these data exchanged and collaborated in the email world? For example, John creates a document and he wants to send that to the customer. Before he sends it to the customer, he shoots it to his seniors, 2 of them for a review. What happens is John continuously works on the document and he ends up getting 2 more reviews from 2 of his seniors. Now he has 3 documents in his hand, which needs to be merged to create a final version. There is a lot of time spent on merging these documents because document is not structured data which can be merged seamlessly using a command or something like that. You need to see it character by character to create the final one. So what do we need in this world? We have centralized our data, but what do we need? The content creation need to be redefined. That's where the genie comes in again. So there are 2 images here. The first one is the email-based content collaboration, and the second one is the new one, right? So what is the change here is like the previous version had something like you create a content and you send it for collaboration and you get feedback, you integrate. It's a longer process. Now, it is going to be one document on which all of your employees going to put hands on and create the final document. So it is no more creation and collaboration, it's co-creation, right? So all the presentation you are seeing in the Zoho links were co-created from designers back in India or here, and marketers and the product managers and everybody. At least there will be at least 10 hands in each and every presentation created here. Why is it important, right? The document management system should marry all the editors together to give a very clear collaborative environment, right? Why I say this? There are 3 most important documents created on the business case. Documents that needs to be sent to clients for contracts or vendors for invoicing purpose. The other one is spreadsheet where you do all the business calculations and the presentations. So these are very important documents that collaborated on a daily basis. So these tools are very important and has to be adopted from the cloud. Going forward, now comes the security. So I would cover the security in 4 broader terms. Data protection, your data will be safe, and giving access to the right people with the right permission, and the admins and the users will have the auditing functionality. So how many of you have backed up? This question came in the morning itself. How many of you have backed up your data in the last 1 year? I have never done that. All right? So we have 5 copies of data. Maybe we, in the sense, it's not Zoho alone. Every vendor in the cloud will be having that much of data. And we do have physical redundancy of keeping data across the coast to make sure your data is safe, backed up. Virus is something that affects 45% of the data loss. All the data that comes into our system is scanned completely for the malware. So we give a complete data protection. So one of the things, whatever we do, whatever a service do, or whatever a tool does, its users, we always will be happy to have a very easy password. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many of you have a very easy password? Your name as a password, right? So we do that actually, because like we want things easy to be remembered. But the business is different. If we lose business data, it's going to be tough. So Zoho by default enforce a password, stronger password. And we do give a 2-factor authentication, which is like you need not only your password, you need your mobile phone or the mobile number to access it, either via text or some other mechanism. Even the admins, right, business admins or the business owners have some handhold in how they want their organization password to be, or how they want their users to set their passwords. Going forward to who can access the data. So every document generated or every content put on the cloud can be set with correct privilege, whether you want to mention the username or the email address to whom you want to share, you want to have with your business, and you can set individual passwords for the documents. And the permissions. So there are 2 things here. One is like who can access, and the second thing is how can access. Both are very important, right? So it's again the permission. You want to give somebody a read-only permission. You don't want somebody to write. So all these combinations has been put into the system. Again, how do I know who accessed it? Doing all the checks. You want to audit on who has accessed, when they did, and what they did, whether they previewed it, they downloaded it. So what happened to the data in the system? These are controls given on the individual file level, right? So how do a business control it? This is an important saying, like data is not lost by the application, it's lost by a bad employee, right? So the employer needs to be given control, or the business owners need to be given control on how the data is being used, where it is being used. So the business owner can set a privilege like what they can do, whether they can share things beyond their organization, whether then they can take the documents out of the system and things like that, they can set. Okay, this is another thing. If you are more a secure company and you want the data to be accessed only from your business, then you can set this privilege like only Zoho can be accessed or from inside the company IP addresses. Admin has been given a much deeper, in-depth analysis and reporting on who did it, what they did, when they did, and we do have an advanced search on you can drill down to by employee or by operation. So the Genie helps you and your organization keep your data secure and safe. That's an important saying. Whatever we do, right, we cannot kill our old habits. We want to go to the cloud. In spite of all that, we want to stay with the Explorer and the Finder, and we say like, oh, there is a security problem there. So we do give options for it. You can sync all your data to your Finder or Explorer and work from there. We would put that on the centralized cloud, as well as you can continue to work on your Explorer and the Finder. So the Genie helps you do all the things you can do on the computer in much more productive way on the cloud. The moving to the cloud and the application on the cloud are on the very, very, very initial stages. And there are a lot of things, a lot of productivity improvements going to happen in the time to come. Thank you very much.